Yo, what is going on, guys? Um, another trading backtesting video, Wednesday, May 20th. Um, let's see if we can get some winning trades for the day through backtesting. And again, building the strategy with you guys being helps us be patient, wait for A plus setups, and adding confluences or removing them if we feel like it's too much or it's something that we need or it's something that we notice. Um, but we also have to account for factors like news as well as bank holidays um, that we don't know if it's happening on that day when we backtest. So, it's just a matter of, finding our strategy, being profitable with it overall. We should ideally be having a 70% win rate for at least 2 to 3 months of continuous same thing every single day, um, where we backtest to practice our strategy to feel confident with it. And yeah, so what we have so far is the 15-minute external, which reflects the 1 hour, and sometimes does reflect the 4 hour as well. But with the 50-minute external, it marks the internal 1 hour as well as um, the 15-minute also reflects the 4 hour time frame as they align. So we're technically trading with the high time frames when we mark out our external structures. Um, then we use the 50-minute um, zones with price hitting equilibrium. Um, or what wouldn't be zones, but order blocks, you could say. We then scale on to the 5 minute, look for liquidity sweep either on the 15-minute or the 5 minute. It should be a clean sweep, meaning that we don't close above that high or low. And we're looking for a market structure shift retracement, making sure that we haven't broken structure on the retracement, and then we're happy to take a trade. So let's let's see what we can get. Randomize it. Okay, this looks like recent price action 2025. So this is last year. Okay. So all I remember about last year while trading was that price was in a constant run, making new highs constantly. So yeah, let's see what we get. Just make sure that there's no previous structure. Nope, we are pretty much at all-time highs. So let's see if we can get a nice retracement, um, following equilibrium of this low to this high. So we see that this is within our equilibrium zone. So we'll wait for that to get tapped, and we'll go from there. So we're pretty much gonna let price play out. It's either gonna make a new range. Okay. Would I consider this a break? It's an interesting question. On the 15-minute time frame, yes. But on the external time frame, probably not. So we'll call this an internal break for now, and we'll see whether we get our entry model at this area here. Okay. Yeah, I don't think so. Okay, let's continue. So now prices retraced. So if we end up breaking this high, I'll be more than happy to call this an external break. So, okay, tapped into our key zone. we do get a sweep of these lows. See if we end up holding it. We also have this PY here, as well as these ones down here. So we have 3 points of contact that price can look to go long from. Let's slow down a little bit here to see what we get. Okay. Do we break that on the 15-minute? No. Get a nice closure. Okay, we have our sweep. Clean sweep. Let's see if we break these highs with momentum. That would be a market structure shift. Okay, not really a nice close. Okay. We can get rid of the zone that we close below that on the 15-minute. Okay, we close below the zone, but we do get a sweep of all these lows down here, which is perfect. Let's see if we get a market structure shift with some displacement. So you make a new, oh, voice crack. So you make a new kind of dealing range here on the internal time frame. So this would be a 1 minute market structure shift. Let's just see if we get a sweep of these lows. Okay, we get that market structure shift. A nice clean one. We do have the sweep. See if we get that retracement. Break structure once again. So now this will be our zone, but we do need a sweep. We get another break. Let's see if we sweep these lows and end up holding the zone. What are we looking like on the 15-minute? 15-minute, we really haven't formed a range. So we do need a sweep. Okay, does price hold this? Sweep this once again. But now structures turn bearish. So ideally we need it to flip. We close below these lows, so I'll probably wait for something more cleaner to present itself. We get a break here. after taking out these lows. Mm, so we get that 15-minute sweep. Break structure, no sweep. Break structure, no sweep. Break structure, we get a sweep. We then get a resweep, and then we break structure once again. We can look to take long. We can look to take long from this. We can look to target a 1 to 2. Break even at this high. Okay. Unable to take these highs, unfortunately. But overall, a decent trade, I would say. Overall, decent trade. And then we get that commitment. So yeah, I guess we just manipulated to trap early buys like me, and price ends up sweeping this low again after resweeping. Um, yeah, yeah. I mean, I can't really do much there. But we followed up the plan, right? Tapped the external, waited, um, waited for a sweep. We did get the external sweep, but we didn't get a clean break above these highs. Price made internal structure. We then broke internal here, no sweep. Broke here, no sweep of these lows. Broke here. Um, we did get a breaker structure here. We did get a sweep, but we did close below. 1 second. Yo, what? Fine for. Oh yeah, I paid that already last week. Yeah, I parked and I thought it was free parking, but it wasn't. Yeah, yeah, but I guess in case I missed a fucking ticket on the windshield, maybe. Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, but sorry, that was my mom. Okay, but yeah, we get that displacement above these highs, and yeah, I mean, price just does whatever it wants, right? We get a resweep again of all these lows, and then price does its thing there. So it is what it is. But we'll move on to the next one. So we'll get rid of the session. Yeah, gold being super super remember gold being super like weird. Like it starts to get choppy real quick. Then price starts fucking sweeping everything. But again, that could have been a bank holiday. We don't know, right? So we'll move on to the next one. But I am feeling confident with the way we're trading at the moment, which is really really good, and the fact that we're losing as well. So it just shows that there's always room for improvement, which we are working on. So obvious downtrend on the external. Just figure out where our external breaks are. Okay. Okay. Get a break here. Okay, this is our last break on the external structure. Let's mark out our equilibrium for our dealing range for the day. The highest point down to where we made this low. So our first point where we want price to reach is this area here, up in premium, sorry. But price could always make a new range, so let's see if price wants to do that. Okay, first point of kind of contact where price is. We have this last one up here as well. So we can just drag this all the way up here. Get rid of this. Okay, we take out these highs. Good sign. We just need confirmation on the lower time frame. We need a formal sweep and a market structure shift. That's what we're waiting for. Okay, get our market structure. Oh no, we don't. Okay, still good signs. Get a sweep of these highs. And we need a break with displacement. Okay. See if we get a retracement in this area here. Okay, that's all right. Still need a sweep. Speed price up a little bit. No way, we just fucking run all the way to the bottom. Okay, so what did we miss? I guess we missed the fact that we already had our 15-minute sweep. Um, yeah, I mean it's hard to say because we didn't break this structure, but we broke this one with no sweeps. So, ah, sorry, we did get a sweep here as I mentioned before, but we didn't get a retracement. So it's not our fault for missing our trade. Price just does what it wants. Get a break here. We still have our 15-minute internal. Yeah, price never really moves cleanly like this, but we don't have a sweep of those highs actually. Okay, we have a sweep of these highs though. Yep. Okay, if we get a break below here, let's see. Okay, resweep again. Okay, nice displacement. Kinda wanna be in the zone. Knock out equilibrium. Okay, and then we make a new range. 1 second. Yo, yep. Okay, we don't get a break of the external. We don't. Okay, we can still look to take something. See if we get a reaction from the zone here. I want to see us break away from it. Okay, that's a good rejection. Okay, good rejection. Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. So, break it down real quick. We have we have our external, which in this case was the last break being here. We then waited for price to come into equilibrium within our dealing range, which our dealing range was from the highest point here to the low that price made before the retracement. Waited for the retracement, had a sweep of these 15-minute highs, um, as well as getting a sweep here at these 5-minute internal highs. We get that break of that structure. Unfortunately, no retracement up to this area. Price chart makes its way all the way down, taking out the external low that was made, but didn't close below it. Therefore, still valid, point of entry. But it was nice to see that though we did take out these lows, it was just to get an internal sweep right? Following the same structure, we get a sweep, we get an aggressive market structure shift with displacement, come back out for a retracement, look for a good break out of the zone, which, we try to push above it. We get a nice break out of it. We get a closure in, closure out, stops above these highs here, and then just targeting a 1 to 2, and trade plays out. So it's good to see that our um, model was kind of working. So it's good. I'll do one more, then I'll grab some dinner, call it a night, but we'll go from there. Delete this, see what we can get. Good to see that we're getting more recent price action too, so just good. Oh shit. Um, okay. A fun fact, I started trading when gold was at around 1,800. So this would have been 2017. Yeah, I started trading when prices was going around 1,800, which is crazy. Look what gold is now. Um, let's see. Let's check on gold real quick. Gold is at 4,465. Absolutely crazy. But let's get right into it. So figure out our external range. Kind of remember this price action here. Break these lows, break this high, these highs, then these lows, lows, break these lows, get a breakup of automated closure here. Okay, we do, but we break above it. But these highs, if we break these lows here, break these lows. Okay. We then break all these highs here, get a nice closure above. Where's our equilibrium? Around about these lows here. Wouldn't call. I mean, yeah, this would be our external. Made a high, trace a little bit. Yeah, we made a high here. Could have retraced, but we traced enough, almost filling equilibrium. So our range would be here to here. See what price gives us. Speed price up a little bit. This will be a valid retracement. Okay, filled in equilibrium now. Okay, that doesn't matter because we closed below these lows. Okay, tapped into this POI now. So ideally, we are looking for a 5-minute manipulation. So we need 5-minute sweep. Okay, read internal. Put no sweep. So let's see if we get that. Equal lows. Get a break of these lows. Oh, sorry, we get a wick of these lows. Okay, we now swept these lows here. See if we get an aggressive push up. Okay, we get that aggressive push up. This will be our last break. This internal one here. Again, more confirmation. Get a sweep of these lows. Okay, don't end up holding that structure. That's fine. Sweep of these lows once again. Get a closure below these lows here. So we need a clean sweep. Good retracement. But we do need a sweep. Really, really choppy. No closure here yet. Okay, structure's now turned bearish on the internal. So we can get rid of all of this. Do have these 5-minute lows here. Equal lows. Okay, get a sweep of these lows. We now need an aggressive push up. That's what we need. We need an aggressive push up. Clean break. Yo. Yeah, I'm coming. Okay. Not a clean break. We didn't take out these lows. Good sign. Okay. Going deep into the retracement. Okay. It's okay if price doesn't break that low. We just need to see. We just need a sweep. Equal lows. Okay. Sweep that low now. Swept all these lows again. See if we get a break. No break. Sweep again. Clean breakout after getting a sweep. Okay. Gotta avoid. Gotta wait some more. Starting to break out a little bit. Internal break here. Still no sweep. Okay. I was honestly looking at tapping into this just because we had our sweep. But let's see if we get a retracement. Okay. See if we hold this. Okay, no, we don't. We didn't sweep these lows. So at these lows once again. This is super ugly. This technically would be a no trade day, to be honest. This is super ugly. Unable to get a sweep. Yeah, no clean sweeps. I mean, equal lows. Yeah, we'll just call it a no trade day there. So that wraps it up. One winning day, one losing day. One winning trade, one losing trade. But that wraps it up there. I'm super, super hungry. Mom's calling me. And I'll see you guys in the next video. God bless you guys. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace.